So we hear it all the time, right? AI is completely revolutionizing education. But what does that actually look like for the students who are, right there in the middle of it? Are they becoming super learners or just getting way better at outsourcing their homework? We're about to find out.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? On one side, you have this promise of a whole generation of hyper-efficient superlearners. And on the other, there's this real fear that we're eroding the very foundations of critical thinking. This tension is exactly what we're going to unpack.
To get past all the hype and get some real answers, we're going to look at a recent study that went straight to the source, university students. And what makes this research really interesting is its location, the United Arab Emirates, a country that's going all in on a tech-forward future. So, what did these students have to say? Okay, first things first. Before we get into what they think, let's take a look at who we're actually talking about. The study gives us a really detailed demographic snapshot. The study surveyed 303 students, which gives us a really solid sample size to work with. Now, here's where the demographics start to tell a pretty interesting story. The first thing that just jumps right out is the gender breakdown. Nearly 80% of the respondents were female, which actually reflects a much larger trend in higher education enrollment in the region. And as you'd probably expect, about 3/4 of the students are in that classic 18 to 23 age range. This means we're hearing directly from the very first generation of true digital natives who are navigating university life. And with over 84% of them pursuing a bachelor's degree, these insights really reflect the mainstream undergraduate experience, not some specialized group of high-level researchers. So we know who these students are, but the real question is, how much are they actually using AI for their studies? And this is where we see a huge gap between the hype and the reality. The largest group, almost 40%, uses AI rarely. Only about 1 in 5 are daily users. This tells us that despite all the buzz, widespread, constant adoption isn't quite the norm. Well, at least not yet. So for the students who are using AI, it's not a simple love it or hate it kind of relationship. They're navigating a very clear trade-off between the good and the bad. On the plus side, students see AI as this incredibly powerful assistant. It can act like a personalized tutor for a tough math problem, or it can save hours of tedious work by summarizing dense research articles, which frees them up to focus on the bigger picture. But they're also really clear-eyed about the risks. They worry about losing that valuable human interaction with professors, the accuracy of AI-generated facts. I mean, we've all seen the hallucinations. And, of course, the big concerns over data privacy and hidden biases. So with all those pros and cons laid out, where do students finally land? What's their verdict on having AI in their academic lives? And here's the bottom line. Despite the risks, the overall verdict from students is positive. They're not looking for a replacement for thinking. They're seeing AI for what it is, a powerful new tool to add to their academic toolkit. This quote from the study just cuts right to the heart of it. For a lot of students, AI isn't about laziness. It's about overcoming anxiety. It's a tool that helps them get past that blank page and tackle the often super stressful process of academic writing. Here, we can see exactly where students are drawing the line. They overwhelmingly agree that AI boosts their confidence and expands their vocabulary, but they push back hard against the two biggest criticisms. They don't believe it's hurting their critical thinking, and they're not convinced it automatically compromises their data privacy. So, what's the big picture here? What does this snapshot from the UAE tell us about the future of education everywhere? This might be the single most important finding in the entire study. A student's use of AI doesn't depend on their gender, their university, or even what their major is. It's not just for the computer science students anymore. This is a universal shift that's happening everywhere, for everyone. And that leaves us with a final and pretty critical question. This study shows that students are already adapting. They're finding a pragmatic, positive way to integrate these powerful new tools. So the real question isn't whether students are ready for the future of learning, it's whether our educational systems are.